Hey, what's up, guys? So recently I went to Hurghada in Egypt, or Hurghada as they pronounce it in Egypt, and some really cool things. I want to share just a few really cool things that I learned just being in Hurghada. It was a relatively short holiday by comparison. It was just like 7 days. Just us as a family, and just a bit of time to take out, chill, do whatever we needed to do, just relax basically, spend a bit of time by the pool, the beach, eating lots of food, the good stuff when you go on a resort holiday. And what was really interesting, and I'll get straight to the point, was Hurghada is a relatively newish city in terms of holiday resort. So where we're staying, I can't remember the street in itself, but Hurghada Airport in itself is a relatively small airport. I think it's got about maybe four terminals, various departures and arrivals, and being a sort of European top destination for some, I say top, or one of the top destinations. For a holiday, it's probably relatively new compared to places like Spain and all that kind of stuff. So Egypt or Hurghada, mainly some of the resorts that we're staying. So there's a lot of British that go there, a lot of Dutch. We found Russians, a few Polish. I can't think of any other ones, but those are the ones that stood out to me. Now, here's the really interesting thing. Well, again, now let me just carry on. So, while I'm on that point, so we were about 20 minutes from the airport. Our resort was about 20 minutes from the airport, and it was a relatively short drive. So it's supposed to be really about 20 minutes, but then obviously when you're on a shuttle, it stops at every different hotel as you're being dropped off. It's obviously dropped off various guests at the first hotel. So by the time it gets to us, which I think was probably the third stop, a few people obviously off board and stuff. So the whole stretch of the road is not very long. And there's quite a few resorts in there. And what was really interesting on the way back that which is really weird, we seem to get a tourist guide. I wouldn't say a tourist guide necessarily. He worked for the agency that we travel agency that we booked a holiday for. So I wish we'd got that when we arrived. In terms of some of the facts that he was giving us about the various resorts in the area and what was there, and we seemed to get that on the way back rather than when we arrived. But we did arrive quite late in the evening, so maybe that's why. But anyway, so he was giving us all these interesting facts, and the road in itself that's still relatively developing. I think he said there was about maybe 80 hotels, and there's a heck of a lot of building that's still going on. And what was interesting was that this is still relatively a new, area. I thought. I think he did say that the place, in terms of that particular area, in terms of tourist destinations, wasn't very old. I can't remember how long it said. He said that it had been going on, or that the resorts had been there, but not a very long time. Now, here's the interesting thing. There's investment opportunities where people can buy apartments that are being built. So basically on plan, um, for anything from like 30,000 US dollars to about 60. And I think obviously the prices are going up. And it kind of struck me in terms of how much opportunity there is to invest in properties or invest in the area. You can tell there's a lot of infrastructure that's needed. There's a lot of things that need to be developed. But what was really interesting was the fact that you can buy apartments there for 30 US dollars, essentially as an investment, and you can make that money back in a relatively short time. And I think it's a great place to invest. There's so many opportunities. In fact, when we were being picked up on the way back, so after we pick up all the various people at the different hotels, the bus turns around to go back towards the hotel, and you could just still see miles and miles of desert. And I couldn't help but think, wow, people in this country, people from all over the world, but because I know it's not just Egyptian people, it's people from all over the world, are are coming to that stretch of Hurghada and for a holiday, and people are investing through apartments, that they're building there. So I thought that was really amazing. And, as somebody that kind of went there on holiday, and, for me, it was kind of opportunity to go with the fam and not really think about work. I'm somebody who thinks a lot about investments, purely from stock exchange and real estate. So somebody that has one real estate in the portfolio at the moment, and some stocks and shares. I just thought it was fascinating that, and this is the thing about opportunities. Sometimes we have to just kind of get out of our comfort zone and see what's going on around other places rather than your own locality to think bigger and think wider. And I mean, it was really great. The people there were absolutely amazing. Um, I mean, there is a little bit of a hustler mentality over there because everybody's trying to sell you anything. But that's your own fault. If you're weak and not a natural negotiator or able to cope with that kind of things, then you can kind of be like, no, this is not for me. But for me, I've trained my eyes now to go to that wherever I go, I make it a thing to look at people, to observe the culture, the differences between whether it's UK, America, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Europe, wherever you're from, than where you're going. I'd never been to Egypt before, so always heard about, well, be careful about the food because you can get really sick if you're not careful. But also that the people are real hustlers. Sometimes, you can go in places and you walk out thinking, oh my gosh, if I still got my hair on, I feel like, things things are missing, so you have to be careful. But yeah, so it was just something interesting. I mean, the people are, apart from that, the people are really, really friendly, really, really great. Always want to talk to you. People and know they want to know where you're from, which is another thing I thought was really interesting about Hurghada. I don't know if it's the same about the whole of Egypt, but everybody wants to know where you're from. I don't know whether it's because I was on a resort, but those are the kind of things that stretches my imagination. People want to know, you want to engage with people, well, you want to engage with people that have an appetite to know more about you, and you want to know more about them. And I think sometimes that's what keeps us in a box. If you go somewhere, or if you're not trying to go somewhere, you might have this innate thing in you that you don't really, you just want to stick to what you know. You want to do what you know. You want to do your 9 to 5 job. You want to lock off your computer. You want to go home. You want to do the same routine things. But if you're like me, you want to search um, cultures. You want to search people. When you go somewhere, you notice things. I'm always giving my family a hard time that whenever I'm driving, it's probably because they're being driven, they're being chauffeured. So they're like, "Hey, we're in a happy zone," and I'm like, everybody's looking down. I'm just like, I'm noticing certain things on my road. I'm noticing certain things that's going on. Maybe that's just a men's mentality because we're built that way. But I thought that was really interesting about Hurghada, and I want to encourage you guys to just have a look for yourself. If you want to look at Hurghada and what's going on, and some of the things, take a trip or look it online. But I just thought I'd come and share some of those things that I saw, and I just thought I went on holiday to switch off, and then I found myself wanting to learn more and seeing the opportunities there. So um, yeah, that was it. That's what I wanted to share. So look out for the next video. Before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. If you want to see more videos. Peace out.